Okay, guys, today we are going to be doing the Let's Celebrations Begin questions. So you should already have all of this filled up for your annotation part. So we're going to go on to the question set, okay? All right, and remember, this video can be paused at any time if you need to get caught up on the questions, okay? So it says, answer the following questions using textual evidence from the book using your annotations. So the first one says, how does the character Jacoba change as she helps make toys for her children? Use clear. So on the side, you're going to go ahead and write down the word clear. And as we work through it, you're going to check off each part. Okay. So it says, how does the character Jacoba change as she helps make the toys for children? So let's TTQA for our C. The character Jacoba changes from the beginning. We'll put exposition of the book. So the character Jacoba changes from the exposition of the book where and then, would you mind going and grabbing the book? It's in the folder. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the page of where it tells you how she feels when she's making those toys, because we want to make sure that we're using textual evidence. So give me a second while I find that page. Let's see. Okay. She says right here, old Jacoba says, we are mad. Why do you worry about toys? She scolds. We are starving. It is food we need, not your foolish toys. Okay, so that's how she feels in the beginning, where she believes that the prisoners are being foolish. To the resolution where she joins in to help make the toys. Okay, so that would be our C. Now we need a lead-in phrase. So in the exposition, because remember, we want to keep using those terms, and then we're going to use that direct quote that I found, this one. We are starving. It is food we need, not your foolish toys. So we're going to do that one. It is food we need, not your foolish toys. Okay? In the exposition, it states. Let's put it states here. Sorry, guys. There. This shows she does not see the value in creating these toys and judges people negatively who are, or creating the toys, or who do. In the end, I'll put however, and the end, not end, resolution, comma, she states, and then we're going to find a direct quote that shows you that her attitude changed. Okay. Let's see. She says here, and old Jacoba tells everyone very loudly that she donated her whole sweater, yes, the back of it, the front, and both sleeves, so that the dear children could have toys. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and direct quote. Okay, she states, or actually, because she's not actually stated, we're actually going to turn this back to it states. Okay, it states, dot, 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 because it's not the beginning of the sentence. The back of it, the front, and both sleeves, so that these dear children could have toys. As you can see, her perspective changed, and she really began to care about the children as well. Okay? So there's like two explanations because we did two direct quotes because we wanted to show how they were at the beginning and how she was at the end. So here's what we have. The character Jacoba changes from the exposition of the book, where she believes the prisoners are being foolish, to the resolution where she joins in to help make the toys. In the exposition it states, if it is food we need, not your foolish toys. This shows she does not see the value in creating these toys and judges people negatively who do. However, in the resolution, it states, the back of it, the front of it, and both sleeves, so that these dear children could have toys. As you can see, her perspective changed, and she really began to care about the children as well. Okay? So remember, you can go ahead and pause this video if you need more time writing this in, but we're going to go on to the next question. Okay? All right, so number 2 says, in the short story, what is significant about how the soldiers look at the prisoners when they are rescued? Refer back to the excerpt below. They seemed afraid to touch us, as if they think that we might break. So I think it's really powerful to look back at the pictures to see what's actually going on. Okay, so this is the page, right? And let's look at them. They think that they're going to break. Well, what does that mean? Do you guys remember when they talked about David's little legs and how chickens that were running around had fatter legs because they have been so malnourished and starved in these concentration camps? Well, what do we think that the soldiers meant? So let's go through some of these options. Okay. All right, the first one, it says, it shows that the soldiers were disgusted by the appearance of the prisoners. It highlights the starvation and malnourishment that the prisoners faced. It displays the soldiers no longer wanted to rescue the prisoners. It shows the soldiers were terrified of the prisoners because they were scared they were sick. Nowhere in there does it talk about them being sick, so right off the bat, I would go ahead and take that one out. It displays that soldiers no longer wanted to rescue them. Well, they're throwing David up on his shoulders and celebrating, so I definitely don't think that's it. It highlights the starvation and malnourishment of the prisoners faced because of how their bodies looked, possibly. So let's put a little arrow there. It shows the soldiers were disgusted by the appearance of the prisoners. I don't think disgusted would be the right word. I think that they would be shocked and couldn't believe what they had gone through. So the correct answer would be B, and here's why. Think about his little legs. They were so skinny. These soldiers were probably thinking to themselves, like, how could they survive like this? They have no muscle mass. They don't have any fat index in their body. So if you were to pick them up or even like push them over, something would probably break because they were so malnourished and unhealthy. Okay. All right, let's look at 3. In the story, the narrator and the women she is making the toys with seem to always have hope when others do not. Which piece of textual evidence supports this claim? A, the soldiers were coming soon. Everyone says so, and we must be ready. Why do you worry about toys, she scolds. We are starving. It is food we need, not your foolish toys. But I remember Mama and Papa in my very own bedroom. Or we are making toys now, the women and I. So which piece of text evidence supports the claim that they always have hope when others do not? Okay. Well, I definitely don't think that it's the making the toys or seeing her Papa and Mama. or Jacoba like judging them. So let's look at A. The soldiers are coming soon. Everybody says so, so we must be ready. For them to keep repeating this over and over and over in the story, like in their minds, they're like, this is happening. Like, I know that we're going to get saved. I know that there's something out there that's going to happen, that we're going to be rescued. So that's always having hope. Okay. All right. 4. How does the little boy David feel comforted during the times of despair and turmoil? It does not say to use clear. So if we look at him and we refer back to the text, in the story, it even states right here, this is David. He's only 4. See him there in the corner with his mama's old black shawl. See his hungry eyes and his legs. The chicken running the yard were fatter. He's always having that shawl on, right? And I think that's like a connection to that he has to his mom. Like that's the only thing that he has remaining from her. So I would definitely say that he's comforted by that. Okay. I know for me, I wear a necklace that has both my daughter's names on it, and a ring that has their names on it. And that's something that I find comfort in when I'm not with them. So it says, how does little boy David feel comforted? So let's DTQA. The little boy named David feels comfort when wearing his mother's. Now, his mother owns the black shawl, so we have to make sure we put the apostrophe S because that shows ownership. Okay. When wearing his mother's shawl, because it is probably the only connection he has left to her, and it gives him, I don't want to say like strength. What word would you say? Well, we already said comfort here. It gives him help, courage, help, courage, and hope that things will get better. Okay, so remember, you can go ahead and pause this video, write this down, then I'm going to keep going. Okay. 5. Select the pieces of text evidence that proves that the prisoners found a sense of community even during the toughest times of our lives. Okay, so a sense of community means that everybody is working together for a common cause. Okay, so every year I do something that's called blessing baggies, and I have people in neighboring, I don't want to say neighborhoods, but neighboring cities donate items that are found in blessing baggies, and then I go downtown and I walk around downtown and I find people that need a little bit of extra help, and so that would be like a sense of community. Everybody's coming together, right? All right, so what is our pieces of text evidence that proves that everyone's coming together to help? David wraps up his precious owl in Mama's old black shawl. That doesn't show people coming together. Sarah and David think they always lived here. Okay, well, there's 2 people coming together because they live there, but let's look at the other ones. We are making toys now, the women and I. We are collecting bits and pieces. Are they doing something for the common good together? Yes. Okay. Now remember, it says pieces of text evidence, so there might be more than one. So let's check. We are planning a party, a very special party, the women and I. Okay. Sense of community. So I would say that they're planning together. So I would definitely say C and D are the answers. 6. How does Jacoba's attitude towards making toys change? Jacoba, so this goes right back to that first question, right? So this is just it in a multiple choice element. Jacoba continues to believe toys are useless and incapable of helping them survive. We definitely know that's not right. Jacoba sees the importance of toys and hope that toys provide for the children. That sounds good. Well, let's look at the other ones. Jacoba desires to take all the toys for herself. Nope. Jacoba sees the importance of the toys. This is true by the end, and desires to make creating toys her career. She does not do that. So the only one that makes sense would be B. Okay. All right. How does the arrival of the British soldiers affect children? and old Jacoba's attitude. Affect the children and old Jacoba's attitude. How does the arrival? So I'm going to go back into the book because I always want to make sure that I'm using text evidence. Okay. And it says, they are here, everyone. Everyone, the soldiers are here. See their guns and their tanks and their big gates swinging open. David peeps at the soldiers through his mama's old black shawl, and the soldiers stare back at us, oh so strangely, making soft noises in their throats. They seem afraid to touch us, as if they think we might break. Then old Jacoba shuffles forward and demands a cooked chicken, all to herself, and the soldiers laugh, and one of them swings David up onto his shoulders. That night at our party, our very special party, the women and I bring out the toys. David wraps up the precious owl in Mama's old black shawl. Sarah hugs her funny Patrick elephant and vows to keep it always on her windowsill. And old Jacoba tells everybody, so this is where she's telling everybody that she helped make it, and they're all celebrating, right? So that hope is restored at that moment where they see that the soldiers are arriving, because I wonder if some of them deep down inside truly believed that they would, or if they were just keeping on to the slightest bit of hope. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we use clear. So let's restate. So how does the arrival of the British soldiers affect the children? So the arrival of the British soldiers affect the children and Jacoba's attitude by fulfilling that hope of salvation. By fulfilling that hope of salvation they had deep inside. They kept deep inside. Okay, so there's my C. Okay, so we need to have a lead-in phrase. So we can say, according to the resolution, because remember, I want to keep using those terms that we've learned. According to the resolution of the story, I'm going to give a direct quote. So I think I'm going to pull that quote where they're all celebrating, right? I would say here, and so the celebration begins. Okay, that's literally what I'm going to pull out. Dot, 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 and so the celebration began, which is hint why they chose that title. So there's my lead-in phrase and my explanation. Now I have to explain how is this connecting that their attitude is fulfilled by that hope. So let's see. Because they were actually saved by the soldiers, their attitudes changed, comma, but not as drastically as some would think. I'm going to explain my reasoning. For example, they always put that up a little bit. They always believed they would be rescued, but that was just a hope. When they actually were rescued, they celebrated and gave to the soldiers. Okay, so how did it affect it? So the arrival of the British soldiers affected the children into Jacob's attitude by fulfilling that hope of salvation they kept deep inside, according to the resolution of the story, and so the celebrations began. Because they were actually saved by the soldiers, they their attitudes, not their attitudes, their attitudes changed, but not as drastically as some would think. For example, they always believed that they would be rescued, but that was just a hope. When they actually were rescued, they celebrated and gave thanks to the soldiers. As you can see, the soldiers affected the children and Jacob emotionally. Okay, does that make sense? All right, go ahead and pause this video when you're done. This needs to go into your reading section. There is a dot diagram on the back. Okay, I want you to try this part on your own before you actually put it into your reading section. So what I want you to do first is I want you to do the exposition, then the climax, then the resolution. That way it's easier to fill these in. So let's go ahead and do that before you put this away. Let's put exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and then the resolution. So I want you to try this on your own, and then I will be checking it at some point to give you guys credit in Power School. Okay? All right, good job, guys.